seat, Aunt Judy. What the hell is it with you two? You got cancer. You got a migraine. Not to fight. I don't know. We're all getting we had the same hospital lunchtime, so Larry Gissy just got out and
Okay, I've been volunteered to give a little speech today. I didn't prepare anything really, so it's just off the top of my heart and off the top of my head. My dad, Larry, today. I'm Junior. I'm sure everybody here knows who I am. He lived a pretty long life. He was born in 1941, September 26th. His only living brother's right here, my Uncle Gary, which I haven't seen in such a long time. And it looks almost just like him, just about, almost twin brothers. You know, things went quick. He had a good life. He had lots of close calls. I mean, God helped out and let him stay around a little bit longer. You know, only a few years ago, he had a head-on collision there in Battleground and walked away scratch-free, just about at 50 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour. That was awful lucky. That's one time God let him by to stay with us a little bit longer. He had a heart attack. Doctors didn't think he'd make it then. You know, he wanted to pull the cord then. No, he walked right through that and got up and stuck around a few more years longer to stick with us and spend some more time with us. So God really blessed him and let him stay around a lot longer than we expected him to. Again, he had cancer after that, so he's had a lot of stepping stones through his life where he might not have made it, but he pulled through and stayed around a little bit longer just for us. Okay, so this time God thought it was time for him to go. You know, and he knew it, he realized it. I'm sure he did. And one of the things that almost brought tears to my eyes when he was in the hospital a couple weeks ago when he found out that he had cancer was the nurse came in and asked him to talk to us. Larry, you know what this is leading to? And he goes, yep. He goes, it's time for me to go meet God. And he said it just like that, with a big smile on his face. I mean, at that time, you know, I wasn't sad at all. I always realized that he knew what was happening and he was joyful. He was ready to go see God. He's ready to go up there and be with the rest of his family that's up there and watch over us here. You know, there's lots of good things through his life that he spent with us. He was a good father. You know, I had somebody in our family, which was true. He told me, you know, we have a really strong family. Everybody in here is really strong. They don't like to speak out because they got such a strong personality, you know, a strong heart. And for me, my last day with my dad at the hospital was my hardest. I wanted to tell him this for so long, and I finally spit it out in tears to tell him such a good father he was. For him, the way he brought us children up, it made me such a good person, and all my children such a good people. Every one of them, all three of my boys are just spotless, and that was because of the way he brought me up. He brought me up good. He gave us everything we could ever ask for. He worked hard, you know. When we were younger, he gave us all of our little toys that we could, horses and motorcycles, and anything we could ask for. You know, then he taught us, you know, way after that, you know, when you grow up, you need to work, okay? Take on responsibility. That's how you become a good person, responsibilities and stuff like that. And he brought us and taught us that. You know, he brought joy to a lot of people. I remember when I was younger, you know, all the little kids used to run around because he always had a pocket full of candy, you know. He's always trying to make the little ones happy, and that made him happy. And that was a good thing. One of the things that I really loved and I knew has come to an end, I mentioned to him that my nephew Edmar over here, you know, wanted to go fishing with him, you know. So a couple days later, this is a great memory for them and a great memory for me, well, for them especially. He gave me a call like the next day, and he set up a fishing trip with Uncle John over here. So they got him fishing and stuff, and lo and behold, here's the memory. When they got back up the pole to go home, they took the bridge down. There was no bridge for them to go home, so they spent hours to go around the back roads to even get home. That 11 o'clock, that fishing trip turned into what? So about 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock.
Yeah, 11:30.
Yeah, so that was an awful long fishing trip. They got to spend an awful lot of time together. That was his last fishing trip, matter of fact. A lot of time together, and they had a good trip. But you know, he had a good life, and he loved everybody, and he was a good person. Another thing I was thinking of, the last day he was in the hospital, it was sunny outside. Last Saturday, it was a gorgeous day, and they had the windows right there, and we're looking at it. It's been rainy and nasty the last few days, and the day that we bury him, put him in the ground, God blessed us again with a nice sunny day. I I mean, it's something to smile about and something to look forward, good about. He's always smiling up on us and giving us these days of opportunity and for a blessing of the last day. Is there anybody here that wants to say anything? Speak up.
Mom asked me to read. I had put up something.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So what I found out happened at pastors at work, but I did put something up on Facebook. Mom asked me to read it and put it up. Sorry, I hadn't done that yet. And I wrote it. It was just sort of off the cuff. It was thoughtful. I could have put a lot into about how brave he was his last days, because he really held it together for us. He didn't dwell on it. He was smiling and laughing and joking all the way up to the last time I saw him, which was Thursday. I mean, he definitely was a core figure, but instead of that, I did choose. Here, sorry. He instead chose to. I chose to dwell on what I remembered about him. So here's what I wrote. My grandpa passed away today. I choose to remember him as the big man he was. We're short in his family. And he was tall and broad, especially when you're a little kid, with a deep voice and warm blue eyes and calloused hands that managed to create magic. No matter what you gave him, he always could turn anything into something. It was just amazing. He lived to see his great-granddaughter, and he loved all of his family deeply, just as much as we loved him. He was my safe place to snuggle when I was young and upset, and my silent understanding woodworking partner when I was brooding over something. No one's perfect, and Papa sometimes stormed, just like we all do in this family. But more often, he was the rock that we took refuge on during our troubled times. No matter what life threw at us, we knew that he would be there to make it right, offer a broad shoulder, or just a silent companion. Papa was the only person I let call me Sammy without being grudging about it. I hate being called Sam or Sammy, but he was the one who named me, and he saved me from a youth of torment as Lois Lane. And I know you would have done it, Mom. I'm glad he lived long enough to go home and get things settled the way he wanted, and have another week with the love of his life, my grandma. His passing, while inevitable, leaves a large hole in all our hearts. If anyone was going to heaven, it would be Papa. Papa, I hope you have a great poker party with God and your brothers and others of the family who went before. We will miss you always and will love you forever.
Thanks. Anybody else have anything to say?
I wanted to just say that Bo was the best grandfather you could really ask for. He was always there for us if we had anything to worry about or we just needed to talk. He was just there and he was understanding. I remember playing Dr. Mario with him for hours when I was a little kid, and playing chess with me on the old Nintendo when I was really little. For an entire year, when Grandma was at work and I got home from school, I made dinner. Mind you, it was not the best thing at all, and I had no idea how to cook, but that man ate every single dinner and never complained. And I could tell you it wasn't very good. And, he just ate it happily, and, he always said thank you. He always said how good it was. He was always just so loving to everybody.
As people pass on, like my dad did, all we have after that is memories. Keep those close to your hearts. That keeps you warm inside thoughts. One of my most memorable days for my dad with me, because a lot of people here know that I played pool. We have what we call a tri-cup. I've been there many times. My dad played on a team with me one time, and the one time that he played with me, we took first place. We went through 67 teams. It's the only time we ever won. And guess who won the championship game? After I stepped up and thought I could beat a lower player, I lost. I got my butt beat. My dad got up and played the highest player you could play in the league, and he beat him. He wiped him out. And we took first place. It's the only time we've ever took first place in that kind of tournament. I mean, it's just, no matter how good you are or what you know, and whatever he did, he did good. You know, he turned like I said, he turned a piece of wood into something just amazing. Just amazing. He was so good at what he did. You know, but remember, just keep those thoughts in your hearts. Those little bitty things that keeps you warm inside and alive, and those memories. You know, it might be 15 years from now, but if you think of that little thing that of that person, it makes you think it feels like it was just yesterday. Just I don't have anything else to say. Anybody else have anything? If not, we'll just say a prayer, and that'll do it. All right. Dear Father in heaven, thank you very much for bringing us all here today to say farewell to my father. I'm sure he's up there smiling upon us, and we know it was time for him to go up there and see you. And like I said earlier, you let him stay down here a lot longer than we all expected. Thank you very much for that, because it gave us all time for my boys and everybody else to see him a little bit longer. So he could have gotten away a lot sooner than this, and they would have never really known the grandfather very well. But you gave him that time. He touched a lot of hearts, dear Lord. So be kind with him, and be kind. Please watch over everybody down here, because it is a tough time and it's a sorrowful time. But I'm sure we all get through it. But thank you very much, dear Lord, for giving us these sunny days. The day he passed away is sunny because you smiled that he's going to come up and see you. And the day that he gets buried is sunny again, and you're giving us your blessing. Thank you very much for giving us, dear. Ask in Jesus' name.
Thank you. Excellent job. Thank those of you active as pallbearers. God bless all of you. Go in peace. God have a decent rest of the day. It's an honor to serve your family. And I have people tell me, Denton, I hope I don't see you again for a long time. And maybe you feel that way as well. So it's good to hear from you guys. Go in peace. God have a good rest of the year. And happy Thanksgiving and all that other stuff that people tell one another this time of the year. Once again, great job. The services are complete.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Love you.